Hello. This program is called Mozart and the Violin, and my plan originally was to have a program based on his 5 violin concerti. I think it'd be enough there. But I changed my mind and decided to add some other things, not focus quite so much on the concerti, but we will start with them. He wrote 5 concerti, as I said, one in 1773 when he was 17 years old, and the other 4 in 1775, written through the year, by which time he was the leader of the Royal Court Orchestra in Salzburg, Archbishop Colloredo's orchestra. That's the man with whom he fell out so royally a couple of years later, so much so that the Archbishop ordered his servants to kick Mozart down the stairs. He was thoroughly sick of him, and they duly did. Mozart was a very fine violinist and a very fine keyboard player, and for a time he led the Salzburg Court Orchestra, so he may have written these concerti with himself in mind as soloist, except perhaps for number 5. Somebody else was leader by then. It's a curious fact that though Mozart was a very fine player, he wrote only 5 concerti for the instrument, and thereafter nothing significant for solo violin and orchestra. Nothing really significant for solo violin and orchestra, though the Sinfonia Concertante K364 for violin, viola and orchestra is by some way the finest work for violin and orchestra in his whole output. He wrote a lot of concerti. He wrote 5 for violin, of course, 1 for oboe, 2 for flute, 1 for flute and harp, 4 for French horn, 1 for clarinet, the very last one, and 27 for piano. The fact is that all of these except the piano concerti were written to commissions, or for friends like Stadler, the clarinetist, or for some specific reason. Whereas most, though not all, of the piano concerti were part of his output, which he wrote, we could almost say, for himself, what he had to write. And not only do they outnumber all the others put together, they also absolutely eclipse them in terms of musical achievement. But that's a story for another day. Indeed, it's one I think I've already told. Back to the violin concerti then. The first 2 are attractive, remarkable achievements. Indeed, for a young lad of 17 in the case of the first. But here Mozart is feeling his way, and in fact his distinctive voice is not in either of them, though it was just about to emerge. So, as an example, and an attractive example, well worth hearing, I'm not saying it's not, here's the finale of the first Mozart violin concerto, which is marked Presto. It's an exciting piece. It's a display piece, really, for the soloist, but it could have been written by any one of several competent composers of the time, which is not to say that it's not worth hearing. And here it's played by Artur Grumio with the London Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Sir Colin Davis. Well, there you are, an exciting enough piece and very, very well played there. But it's conventional. It's largely based on fast downward scales and the display capacity of the soloist, and it's harmonically unadventurous, and it's actually, he's learning from others still. It's based on works by other people. By contrast, we're going to hear now the finale of the fifth concerto, 2 years later, which is sometimes called the Turkish, because of an extended episode in that finale in the Turkish style. It's a gentle rondo in 3/4 time, marked tempo di minuetto with a fiery central section, first imitating a Hungarian folk dance, and then that Turkish music with thumping cellos and basses playing col legno, which means using the wood of their bows, bang, 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 well, not quite, not something like that, and instead of the hair, so they become like percussion instruments. This is real Mozart, and could not have been written by anyone else. In a matter of months, he has found his feet. So we're going to hear it played by Itzhak Perlman with the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra, conducted by James Levine. And here it is, the last movement finale of the fifth Mozart violin concerto. What a lovely non-ending to a concerto. It just evaporates, just disappears into the air, and he does the same thing in the third concerto. Very similar approach. Anyway, also it's very nice to hear those cadenzas. Those little mini cadenzas are by Joseph Joachim, Brahms's friend, and they're frequently used. They're popular for that concerto. Of course, it's up to the violinist what he plays. He can make up his own cadenzas if he likes. And there's a violinist, a very good one, called Gilles Arpa, who plays a cadenza in the second movement of the third concerto, which you're just about to hear actually, not that cadenza, which is 20 minutes long and includes Polish elements and jazz elements and goodness knows what else. But sadly, we don't have time for it today. Anyway, we're going to move on to the third concerto. These, the third, fourth and fifth concerti of the 5 Mozart concerti are full of attractive movements. They are not lightweight, but they're not pretentious. This is not serious, mature Mozart by any means. But in their own right, they're almost perfect, these 3 concertos. No movement perhaps is more attractive than this next one, which will end our first video. This is the beautiful adagio of the third concerto in G major. And it's, well, I was about to describe it. Why would I bother doing that? Let's just listen to it. It's played by David Oistrakh, and he's playing here with a group from the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra, some string players, and there is no conductor. there you have it. In our next video, we'll move into the world of Mozart violin sonatas for a bit, and then we'll be back with the orchestra. But that's it for now.